episode of the Shaymin vlog. I am Master Shaymin herself, and we didn't get any questions after the last episode a week ago, but I guess I'll just try and talk about some random stuff here. Well, today's day 20 on HRT, which I'm super happy about. I've noticed some little changes. I mean, again, with the mental changes that I talked about previously on the Shaymin vlog number 4. I mean, it's it's noticeable mental changes, but like at the same time, it feels really kind of natural and whatnot. So it's hard to really tell that they're changes until you look back on it and say, oh, well, that didn't really irritate me before. But yeah, and aside from that, not really any physical changes per se through the first three weeks almost. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about HRT other than that. And as far as the week goes, it was a pretty good week. Hung out with friends, but one thing that's bothering me is that I don't get a lot of hours at work, so I'm gonna have to do something about that in the near future. But I gotta say that it would be nice to know what you guys want me to talk about during some of these vlogs, because you know, again, this channel is for you guys. Like, I'm trying to make a channel where people want to come and watch things on, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what people want on this channel. So the hope is that somewhere down the line I can get enough people to comment that I can fill up an entire episode, which hopefully in the future will be longer. Of course, this week it might be a little bit shorter because I don't have a lot to talk about, especially noting the fact that you know, I didn't get any questions. But I guess one thing that definitely needs to be mentioned is Orlando. I'm sure everybody has heard about that by this point. But it's a horrible incident that happened over the weekend, and I just it just sucks that when you look online and you see religious institutions, goats, all these people praising this guy that murdered 49 people solely on the fact that they were part of the LGBT community is horrific. I mean, I can't say this enough, but if you really believe that this was a good thing, you really need to go to some mental hospital, because that's just messed up. I can't believe people say this kind of thing. It's appalling. It's absolutely insulting to people, to real people, people that have to go through this all the time. And there's a lot of people on there also saying, criticizing people for calling the bar a sanctuary. Which, I mean, those people don't understand how hard it is to hold your lover's hand in public. Because for straight people, it happens all the time. It's not a big deal. But for LG, B people, it's not something that you could just do all the time and not get criticized and not get, you don't want the two of you to go through that. You want to go out on a date, but you don't want to have everybody look at you as you're holding your lover's hand and then criticize you and give you these condescending stares and giving you these horrible insults as you're walking down the street or sitting at the table. And so going to a LGBT friendly bar is something that, really helps people. It helps people a lot. So for the people that don't understand, it's absolutely a tragedy. They need to open their eyes on that one, because it's just absolutely horrific that something like this would happen. And I mean, I've seen some really good things about it. There's been a lot of people that have gathered around and for vigils, just being able to be there and give their support to the families and friends and of the people that died that day. But I've also seen some absolutely horrendous things. People from a number of different faiths saying that this is a great thing, that this shooter was sent from God or something. It's just absolutely horrendous. I mean, especially noting the fact that a lot of these, religions preach about love and stuff like that, and then they turn around and say, thank God someone killed all those gay and lesbian people. It's appalling that we still live in that kind of world. I mean, this is 2016, people. You'd think that people would start to wake up, start to realize that this isn't choice. This isn't something that you could just laugh at people about. This is completely natural. Completely natural. I think, according to studies that they did, pretty much every species that they've investigated, there has been animals that fall into the LGBT category, and there are some animals that can fit into the T category. Not a lot, though, because it's not like they could tell per se, unless they can actually naturally switch their sex, which things like clownfish do. But, the fact that there are people that still don't believe that this research is real, which it totally is, which they have video evidence for, is beyond me. I just can't understand people like that. Because religions preach this all the time with no evidence to back it up. And here's another point about that. These are the same religions that said that black people were like demons or something. You remember during the civil rights movement back in like the 60s and 50s, churches were preaching that black people were these horrible beings and that you had to keep them in line and stuff. And now, never happened. Because I feel like one day, it may be 10 years from now, it may be 50 years from now, it may be 100 years from now, but religions are going to be eventually okay with this kind of thing. Just like they were with African American people. And they're going to pretend that this never happened, that they never bashed, LGBT people, and everybody else. I mean, the acronym is so long. So I apologize if you fit into the other categories. I just want to narrow it down, because I haven't memorized the full acronym or anything. So, but again, absolute horrendous thing that happened in Orlando, and horrendous things that are being said and praised about what happened in Orlando. And I just really hope that one of these days we can move past this, and we can finally have people have respect for one another, no matter what, their sexual orientation, their gender identity is, or any other aspect of their being. But I don't know if that's ever really going to be the case during my lifetime, which is depressing. Just depressing. So that's about all I really have to talk about this week. Again, if you really want to see me talk about anything in particular, it doesn't matter what it is. Well, as long as it's within reason. I don't want to get some stupid thing about, which person looks better or something. Just give me something reasonable to talk about, and I will do that next week. So I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the Shaymin vlog. Make sure you click that thumbs up button and comment down below on both questions and your thoughts about this week's vlog and all the other vlogs. You can go back and watch those as well. If you haven't already, I'd highly recommend it. You can click that subscribe button for future content. We're going to get a few more episodes of the Platinum Randomizer Nuzlocke out today. And hopefully, by the end of the week, we can finish the Platinum game and we can move on to the next game, which will be fun as heck. So, stay tuned for that.